Hello, Jeff Helvin here with Ballen Brands, and today I'm going to show you how to set up a custom URL to promote one of your own listings. So I have my website pulled up here, and what I want to do is I want to make sure that if if I have a new listing that comes online, I don't want to just share my website. I don't want to just share, go to my homepage, jeffsellslv.com, and have them go find that listing. I want to take them directly to a listing page. So I'm going to pull up a property here just as an example. This happens to be one of my sold properties, and maybe I want to use that to promote to other sellers and how quickly I can sell a property or something of that nature. So I'm going to pull up this one, for example, 3232 Hill Valley. So when I pull that up, I can easily share this URL if I'm going to, maybe send it in an email or post it on a social media post. The URL doesn't matter so much on that. But if I'm going to do any kind of marketing, like print marketing, or if I'm going to include it in an email or something that people will visually see, I want to have a URL that's a little easier to digest, if you will. So if I click on this, you'll see it's a pretty complex URL. homes.jeffsellslv.com/idx, details, and then it goes into the property address. I mean, this is a long URL. We'd never expect anyone to type this out or to remember how to get specifically to this particular page. And it wouldn't be very pretty if we had it, visually in an email, or certainly wouldn't want to put that on a postcard. So I want to make this URL, and I just want to make it much shorter, sweeter, easier to remember, easier to input as well. So while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and copy this URL, because essentially I'm going to set up one URL, the one that we want to be easier and a little more efficient, right, for someone to use. We're going to set that up to redirect to this page, because we still want them to go to this page that has all of the specific information about it. We just don't want them to have to type all of this out. That would just be too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my website admin, pull this up here. I'm logged into my admin here, and we have a plugin installed called redirections. So this is an option that allows us to easily put in one URL to have it go to a different one. So right here, you'll see I have redirection. If that's not in there for whatever reason, or we didn't build your website, and you want to do that, you can just simply add new plugin and type in redirection, and it'll come up as one of your options, and you can install it. So that part's super simple. I can either click here on settings, or there's now a link once it's installed as well under tools, redirection. All right, so I pulled that up, and here are, if I had any already set up in here, they'd be right here for us, but I haven't done this particular one on this website, so I wanted to show you how this is going to work out for us. So all I do, it's pretty simple, but I'm going to show you a couple little details that matter. So I'm going to click on add new. The source URL. So this is telling us, where do you want it to go? So what URL did they put in order to get to where we want them to go? So this is the part where I said I want something shorter. So I'm going to actually put in /. Now it says the relative URL. Relative means relative to the domain name. So I don't need to actually put in the domain name itself. That's already assumed because they're coming to this page. So I'm going to, relative to the domain name, I'm going to pull this up, and let me just pull up the listing again. It's 3232 Hill Valley Street. So usually I would do something that's related to the actual property address, or something that's easy to identify. In this case, I'm just going to do Hill Valley. I could do 3232 Hill Valley. I could do Hill Valley as one word. I could capitalize it, not capitalize it. It really doesn't matter. It's whatever you think would be easiest for the user to remember, or what would look best on a postcard. So any of those options would be just fine. In this case, under the URL options, I want to click this ignore slash, because maybe they don't put the slash at the end when they type it out. You don't have to have that slash at the end. And I want to ignore case, because maybe I print it as Hill Valley with capital H's, but maybe they type it in as lowercase. So these are the options that we have, when it comes to these. But we want to make it as universal as possible, to kind of accommodate for any errors. There might be some instances where you want it very, very specific. But in this case, we don't. We just want to keep it that. So just the ignore case and the ignore slash is all we need there. And then the query parameters, exact match in any order, or am I ignoring all the parameters or ignoring this or that? So we want it to be a match. We want someone that goes directly to this to go to that particular page that we want. Now the target URL, that's the one that they're landing on. So that's the actual full URL listing landing page. So I'm going to hit paste because I copied it from the other one. And this is the full URL that it's going to come from, or that's, well, I should say that it's going to. So we've got the source URL. So in this case, it would be jeffsellslv.com/Hill Valley. And then that's going to then go to this long URL that takes them directly to the page. Now there's also groups if you want to have that. In this case, it's just redirections. That's what we're doing here. So I'm going to click add redirect. And it is now here. So we're going to try it out. jeffsellslv.com/Hill-Valley. And there we go. It went directly to my Hill Valley listing page. So this URL that I typed in, again, much easier to digest, a smaller URL, less for someone to type, better for marketing because we're marketing the actual property address. If someone's interested in Hill Valley and they see jeffsellslv.com/Hill Valley, just makes it that much easier. You can do this for any kind of, like maybe your own, you set up your own custom page for probates or this or that. Usually we make the URL simple anyway. The basic ones on the website, if I go to like locations and I click on Las Vegas, we're going to keep those pretty quick. So /location/Las Vegas, Nevada. Now maybe I just want to have jeffsellslv.com/Las Vegas. I can do that and have it still go to this page. I don't have to create separate pages for everything. So great way to use for marketing. It looks a little better when we place it on social media or in an email, especially if we're going to use it on a on a postcard, anything like that. It's going to have a lot of value to us to keep that name a little more short and sweet and easier for the end user to use. So if you have any questions on this or anything else, you can always reach out to us at team@ballenbrands.com.